So apparently, JD Vance has apologized. Kind of. At least, that's what everyone online is saying right now. According to several outlets and viral clips, JD supposedly issued an apology to his wife following the Erika Kirk scandal that's been dominating the internet for weeks. But the apology isn't sitting right with a lot of people because it didn't sound like a real one. And now, his wife, Usha Vance, has reacted. And let me tell you, her response might have said more than anything JD did. If you thought the scandal was fading out, think again. Because between the non-apology apology, Usha's cold response, and Erika Kirk's subtle posts about grace and forgiveness, this story just reignited. And it's messier than ever. So today, we're breaking down exactly what JD supposedly said, why people think it wasn't genuine, and how Usha's reaction flipped the whole situation on its head. Alright, let's rewind a little for context, because the apology makes way more sense once you remember how this whole mess started. Last month, at a Turning Point USA event, Erika Kirk, widow of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, introduced Vice President JD Vance on stage. It should have been a straightforward moment of respect, but the second Erika said, "No one will ever replace my husband, but I do see some similarities in Vice President JD Vance," the room went silent. And then came the hug, JD's hand on her waist, her fingers in his hair, and a look that people online couldn't stop replaying. Within hours, that clip was everywhere. Some viewers said it looked compassionate. Others said it looked way too intimate. Twitter threads, YouTube breakdowns, Reddit theories, all of it turned this small moment into a full-on political scandal. By the end of the week, hashtags like JD Erika hug and Vance scandal were trending, and people weren't just talking about the hug. They were asking how JD's wife felt about it. For weeks, JD stayed silent. No statements, no press conferences, nothing. But the silence made it worse, because every day he didn't say something, the rumors grew. Some claimed Erika had been spending more time with JD at events. Others claimed Usha stopped attending appearances with him altogether. Even right-wing forums were split, half defending JD as being compassionate in a moment of grief, the other half saying, "This looks bad no matter how you frame it." And right when people started thinking he'd write it out without ever addressing it, a supposed apology surfaced. So here's what's being reported. According to several outlets and leaked clips from an off-camera interview, JD Vance supposedly said he owed his wife and his family an apology after the viral controversy. The quote that's been circulating reads, "I let a personal moment become a distraction, and for that, I owe my wife and my family an apology. What people saw online wasn't what it looked like. I should have known better." Now, here's the thing. This wasn't an official press statement. It wasn't posted on his verified pages or released by his team. It's reportedly something he said in passing during a longer interview that never aired in full. But people caught it, clipped it, and spread it like wildfire. Within hours, the internet labeled it JD Vance's apology. The problem? It didn't really sound like one. He didn't mention Erika by name. He didn't directly address his wife. And the tone, at least from the clip that's out there, felt detached. It was more like, "I'm sorry you guys took it that way," not "I'm sorry for what I did." The reaction online was brutal. Twitter users were calling it the most politician-style apology ever. One comment read, "That's not an apology. That's PR damage control." Others pointed out how rehearsed it sounded, like someone on his media team wrote it for him. And honestly, they might not be wrong. Political insiders say JD's been in full crisis mode ever since the hug blew up. Apparently, communication strategists were brought in to draft statements and plan how he'd rebuild trust. But even with that, this supposed apology didn't land. Because in the world of viral optics, people don't want polished. They want real emotion. And what they got felt like a checkbox, something to quiet headlines, not repair a relationship. Which brings us to the woman at the center of all this, Usha Vance. So the day after JD's apology started trending, Usha was spotted in public with him, and people immediately noticed something was off. They arrived together at a Cincinnati charity event. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted questions, and while JD smiled for photos, Usha stayed stone-faced. No hand-holding, no warmth, nothing. It was the definition of "I'm here because I have to be." And then, that same night, Usha quietly posted something on her private Instagram that changed the entire narrative. It was a single quote that read, "Sometimes silence is the loudest reply." That's all it took. Within hours, screenshots leaked onto X and Reddit, and the internet went wild. People were like, "She knows exactly what she's doing." That quote instantly became the unofficial response to JD's apology, a quiet, controlled message that said everything without saying anything. Behind the scenes, things are reportedly tense. According to Politico and Page 6, sources close to the couple say Usha felt blindsided and humiliated by how the whole situation unfolded. She wasn't mad about the hug itself, she was mad about how public it got and how long JD waited to even address it. Apparently, JD has been doing a lot of apologizing in private too, trying to prove the internet's version of events isn't real. But insiders say the damage might already be done, because in politics, perception is reality. Usha's not just a wife in this story. She's now part of the image. And when your marriage becomes part of your campaign optics, that's when things get complicated. And then, because this story never stops evolving, Erika Kirk jumped in again. After JD's supposed apology went viral, Erika posted a short message on her own social media, saying, "Grief makes people misread moments. I just wish people would stop turning pain into gossip." Now, people took that two very different ways. Some saw it as her defending JD, saying the hug was innocent. Others thought it sounded like deflection, like she was trying to minimize the backlash without denying it. Either way, her timing couldn't have been worse, because instead of calming things down, it reignited every rumor all over again. The public's like, why are you even talking about this if it's over? And just like that, the apology moment JD was hoping would close the story ended up giving it new life. Now, politically, this has become a nightmare. JD Vance isn't just a husband, he's the vice president, with a presidential future being whispered about for 2028. And this type of controversy sticks. Every headline that includes Erika Kirk next to his name chips away at his family values image. Insiders say his team is furious, not at Usha or Erika, but at the timing, because this scandal is distracting from his agenda, his media appearances, and the campaign narrative he's trying to build. Meanwhile, social media has fully turned Usha into the story. There are entire TikTok accounts analyzing her every facial expression. People are calling her the real First Lady material, the strong, silent figure standing above the noise. Ironically, the more JD talks, the more people side with her. What's wild is how quickly public sentiment shifted. At first, this was all about JD and Erika, but now it's all about Usha, the quiet, composed, no-drama wife trying to keep her dignity intact while the world picks apart her marriage. Comments online are overwhelmingly in her favor. One viral tweet said, "Usha doesn't need to say a word. Her silence says everything JD's apology didn't." Another said, "She's not doing interviews, not crying on podcasts, just living her life. That's how you win the public back." And honestly, they're right. Usha's restraint has become her power. She's reminding everyone that sometimes the best revenge isn't a statement, it's composure. JD's PR team is reportedly in overdrive right now. They're trying to redirect attention, scheduling more family-oriented appearances, hinting at church visits, even considering a sit-down interview with Usha to project unity. But as of now, insiders say she's not interested. She's focused on her kids, her career, and quote, protecting her peace. That right there says everything. If JD's apology was meant to close the story, Usha's quiet response just reopened it, and now she's the one holding all the cards. People are calling it the non-apology apology, a phrase that's become the perfect summary of JD's statement, because it wasn't about accountability. It was about optics. It's the kind of apology you make when you're more worried about the fallout than the feelings. The tone, the delivery, the vagueness, all of it screamed politics over honesty. And that's why it backfired. You can't fix a PR crisis with PR language when the issue is personal. So where does that leave everyone? JD's apology didn't end the speculation. It fueled it. Usha's silence made her the sympathetic one, and Erika's comments kept the rumor cycle spinning. Every move now matters. Every quote, every appearance, every word. JD's trying to move past it, but the internet has already written its own version of events, and that version doesn't go away easily. It's not just a scandal anymore. It's a case study in how image, marriage, and media collide in real time. Let's be honest, in situations like this, there's no clean way out. Even if JD didn't do anything technically wrong, the perception of something happening already did the damage. Usha's reaction, that silence, that cold composure, said what words couldn't. This wasn't just political embarrassment, this was personal disappointment. Behind closed doors, you can imagine what those conversations sound like. JD trying to explain how the internet twisted it. Usha, calm but distant, saying something like, "You let it happen." And no matter how many public appearances they make together from here on, everyone's going to be watching the micro expressions, the eye contact, the smiles, the hand-holding, or lack of it. Because this isn't just a scandal anymore. It's a trust issue playing out in real time, on camera, with millions of people watching, like it's a Netflix show. If JD's so-called apology was meant to fix things, it might have actually confirmed what everyone was already thinking, that there's something broken between how he acts in public and how his wife feels in private. And that's the part no PR team can fix. So yeah, JD Vance's wife has reacted, the internet's dissecting every frame, and what was once a 5-second hug has become a full-blown, slow-motion fallout. The scandal might fade from headlines, but the damage, that lingers. Because in politics, forgiveness is optional, but perception, that sticks forever. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.